What is shaking YouTube? What's going on? Close of the week coming at you. See what we got going on here today. Check out quick here. All right. So what have we done today so far? Absolutely nothing. Open up the day. We do a quick, never mind. Hold on a second. Let me get my bearings. Yeah, quick over under, a little bit of shaking about there. We have this really haphazard attempt here at a stop hunt by London. So the Asia low holds, right? That is very tiny little movement below there. So I would say that is not a hunt. So just low holding. All right, this could look like a potential W formation here setting up, and we might be going up for these highs. All right. Other than that, really nothing has been done. We haven't even touched the previous day's open. You know, we've touched the close, obviously, but it is really just hanging around it. All right. So pretty important level, right? The daily open, also known as the previous day's close on Bitcoin. Very strong level for you to be taking positions off of, but it has to be giving you a sort of a clear direction here, right? Like, we went down, came back up. This is a pretty nice zone here to be shorting after such a move down, but now we're on it and just hanging out here. So pretty interesting. I know I've said this a few times in the last couple of streams and then it never pans out. But if it does today, it would be glorious. We've got our potential inside bar brewing up here. We're about 2,000 away from yesterday's high. So it's not that far. We could definitely take that. And we could also take yesterday's low here. Now, it'll be interesting if this does close as an inside bar and it closes red, that will be a pretty ominous sign here that we might be going down for a move. But really can't tell with an inside bar, all right? So if that does happen, and then during the weekend we can't take out the high or low of this, expect pretty decent movement on Monday. All right, what's going on, Mr. Unknown? How you doing, buddy? Hope you're doing well. Yeah, so that's what we got here going on so far, all right? So we've got our Asia opening range and our London opening range are quite spread apart. And that is a very kind of neither here nor there sign, all right? Especially if New York opens here in the middle. It's just got to then kind of pick its poison. What do you want to go do? Get some liquidity out of London or get some liquidity out of Asia. London has taken most of it already. All right, so it's come up to the highs. We've now got these equal highs here, equal lows here. So it's really a fielder's choice for New York. Great. I'm doing really good, man. Thanks. Doing really good. Gonna see if I can hit a couple of trades today before 4 o'clock. I got to go to a pig roast. So yeah, big old barbecue with should be about 80 people or so. So that's exciting. Very exciting here in good old Portugal. EHT is high, or do you mean ETH? Not really sure. Can you check? Yeah, as long as I know you're talking about ETH, I can check. Yeah. Yeah, ETH is high. Look at that bad boy go. Nice. Can I check harm? What is harm? Mr. Unknown, you're freaking me out, man. Haram. Ah. All right. Haram. Haram, brother. Assalamu alaikum, man. Sorry. All right. Yeah, that looks pretty decent there. That is old. Don't need that here. What's going on, Crypto Yark? Good to see you, man. Ooh, Now that you're here, we're going to talk about this. Yeah, I know pork is haram. That's why I'm laughing, man. I know, I know. I won't eat it. Don't worry. I'm just going to be there. But I will drink beer. So that's haram too, I guess, right? Yeah. uh, I'll just stick to the salads. Don't you worry. Fried beef. Oh, that's generally what I eat. I'm not. That's generally what I eat, and that's what I will eat. What's going on, Solomon Barty? Yeah, I will die. We're all gonna die, Mr. Unknown. Prematurely is kind of bad, but we're all going there. We're all headed to the same hole. All right. Yeah, man, that's pretty nice. I would just it's a huge range already put in without New York getting involved. So this could really rip. You've got a massive row of single prints here now. That's what I said. Beer is also haram. But I drink beer with no alcohol. 0%, sir. Don't worry, I'm gonna go over it right now. Crypto Yark, I was just waiting for you. We'll look at it. All right, and don't go too crazy about it. I'm gonna say something here. You're wasting. You're not wasting, but you're using up a lot of time on a setup that doesn't happen that often. All right, so sometimes you'll get them a couple of times a month. Sometimes you'll get them a couple times a week. But don't worry too much about that setup. All right. Yeah, that's what I try to eat all the time, Mr. Unknown. Halal. That's it. Majid, what's going on, brother? Majid's back to his PC. Good. My internet provider has seemed to fix my internet connection. So I've got lightning fast internet today. Let's see if this continues. Hopefully. So I hope everything is good. I hope the sound is good, the image is good, and that there's no lag, all right? Okay, so let's, this looks really good, Mr. Unknown. Now, this is a bit, this could really go either way here, but so far it does look like it wants to go. If New York comes down real quick and hits this row of single prints here, it might turn back around and go, all right? Not taking this setup on weekend days and weekends. Yeah, I don't really trade on the weekends, but they do play out on the weekends too. You just have to make sure that you're with more monitors. Man, I only have two. I used to have three, but 3 monitors for me is just too much. It's I don't need all of that info. It's a bit overkill for me. Anyhow, let's go. Then we'll look at this setup here before New York Open happens. All right. So as far as the value area setup goes, all right, you'll hear it called a bunch of different names. The 80%, the value area setup. And then you have some communities that give it their own name, like they kind of invented it, but they didn't. It's a very old strategy. All right. A lot of people know it. It's quite old. Okay. So let's get our volume profile up here. All right. So it really is about how much you can squeeze out of this. Okay, so the point of control is very important. Like it will go to the point of control almost every time. All right, so it's got a very high success rate if it gets accepted in. All right, but it has to close 2 candles in a row above. So this doesn't count. All right, closed 1, it goes below, so it resets. All right. What's going on, Andy? Oh yeah. Join the Discord. Link is in the description. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, please, if you like what you're seeing. And if you want any specific comment, just leave a comment. Any specific content, just leave a comment and we'll address that. Yeah, so right now it's not in play, right? So it's not this one and then this one and then you start to look for it. No, it's got to be 2 candles in a row that close half hour inside of this zone here, right? So we're gonna break this down here and we're gonna talk about what we can look for, all right? So As you know, I do like a lot of confluence and I like to look at several factors. I don't like to just kind of get it on trades. But personally, this is a pretty small value area, right? The whole thing, it's good enough for a trade for sure, because it's almost 1% here. So 0.93%. So that's decent enough for you to look for a great day trade. All right, now if we start to look at the value area to the point of control, it starts to look a little bit less, tempting. So 0.37%. Guy, you know the grill. That's where I'm going, man. It's the grill, baby. So yeah, we've got a 0.37%, right? So it really depends on how the second candle closes, if it does in fact close here. Okay, so if it closes like way up here close to that point of control, then your risk reward ratio is potentially going to be devastated. All right, so there's that to consider. Okay, so would I be trading this candle if it closed here, even if it was the second candle and we were like now 0.7% or something? Then no, I wouldn't. I would not. Okay, the other thing is we want to take into consideration what's going on here in the general scheme of things, right? So if we're trading volume profiles, then we have to trade volume profiles. You can't just isolate that 80% sort of idea and hope that it hits, because you might be missing the bigger picture of what is happening here. All right, so yesterday we put in a B shape and we got a close way above, Wednesday, and we got that close way above the median point, right? The equilibrium, and price rips up. So yesterday we've got a very, this could go either way, but I would call this a P shape. Some will argue it's a balanced day, but this bottom here is really not. Hey, holy, Zulon throwing the knocks around like a millionaire over there. Thank you, sir. You didn't have to do that once again. Are you trying to get my attention? No, all you did was say hello there. Yeah, all right. Good to see you, my man. Thank you. Appreciate that. That's going to go right back into Mr. Unknown's PC fund. The problem is he's not going to get a laptop. He needs a PC, not a laptop. All right. Anyways, so we've put in this P, right? And look where price has closed. Okay, so it's not an overly bullish sign. Now it is very close to the equilibrium. So this is not one of those like definitive signs that says we're bearish for the day. But price opens up, comes up, hits into pretty much into the value area node of the point of control here, doesn't test the point of control, and then starts to go down. So this is that kind of day where you might want to sit back and think to yourself, there's a potential that if we do go up, we're going to reject off this naked point of control and come back down. All right, nothing is guaranteed, but we just have to think about this stuff. Don't get locked into wacky ideas about certain things. All right, see, price comes down now from the high to the low. We're rejecting off the 0.5. And we've got the golden pocket up here inside of this, at the top side of this fair value gap here. All right, so let's celebrate their first super on a live stream. What? I thought that this is the second super on a live stream. Andy, that's not your first. You sent me a super already once. All right, I'm celebrating it, man. Woohoo! Woo! Celebrate good times. Come on. All right. So, yeah, here we are, 0.5 on this point of control. All right. You've got the 0.5 from here to here. So there's, quite a bit telling you that this might not be the best day to go for this long here. All right, we've also had 3 days of rise, which in the market maker scenario is a bit of a red flag. Okay, that doesn't mean we're not going to get another day of rise, but usually we do it like think of it almost like Fibonacci numbers, right? 3 days of rise, 5 days of rise, stuff like that. All right. Thanks God. Okay, hold on a second. This is a super chat. I like it. Okay, so hold on. They just said that they were going to. All right, so what's that first one then, Andy? That's how much I understand about this stuff. Very little. All right. Maybe you gifted that first one to Mr. Unknown. Okay. So that would be sort of the, you know, the bigger picture criteria, right? Is you're not just going to be looking at this and thinking about taking this. If you can formulate ideas for price to go to the downside, and they've got, oh, an expensive sticker. Oh yeah, that's a sticker. All right. But we already did have a super chat. So that's a super sticker, right? Okay. Man, that's a very expensive sticker. Now, what do I do with that? Do I keep the sticker or just the 20 NOK? I'm saving up to go to Norway and spend some NOKs, baby. All right. So sorry for that, Crypto York. I know you're trying to listen to this and I'm going all over the place, but this is what you really want to think about, right? Is this setup kind of following what's going on, right? And you could say that it is, because we are on an uptrend. So we're going to come down. We're going to find support somewhere down here or here. So far, it seems like this weird little void here, this row of single prints, all right, has been filled. So that's always a good place to find support, right? Okay, it's about like six prints or so. All right, so great place to find support. And now we got to make sure that we can aggressively move out of this, right? So if we do now start to think about this, it's going to get a little bit weird, especially because of New York. Let me just fix this up here. Hey, get out of here. Wow. Okay, we have a huge problem with this, right? We've got our Asia high here. We've got the 0.5. So if price does come into this zone, you know, we've got to get over that. So if you were to take the trade here, the second candle would have to open very close to that, close very close to that value area low. And you'd be looking at all of this stuff with great caution, and you really have to manage this trade. It's not one of those open it, set your TPs and walk away sort of thing, right? You'd really want to manage it. So we might get a little wick through and this might hold and price might come down. We've already taken a tap at the low and it gave a little crack there, but not much. So right now I'd be saying it's pretty sketchy. We've got quite a bit of resistance right above us. And, you know, might not be the best value area setup / 80% / all the other names it's known by. All right. So, you know, take it with a grain of salt. Think about what else you see, right? And that's one of the problems with strategies, is that they're blinding. All right. And you have to remember that strategies are blinding. Okay. And what do I mean by that? If you don't understand what I'm saying, I will explain it. Okay, so Let's take this down to the 1 minute chart and we'll talk about one that everybody knows. All right, so if you're looking at the big three, okay, you know, these are not great trades here. And this would be a pretty decent scalp, but it's not a great trade, right? And you're going to be missing some other moves, right? That you could be sort of playing in a different way as opposed to playing the big three. But the point that I'm trying to make is once price starts moving aggressively away from the EMAs, then you have a few whacks at it, right? And then you don't anymore. So once you turn that corner and it starts to consolidate before then starting to move up, you don't really know what's going to happen, right? You're always going to be blindsided at least once on the strategies. It's sort of like trading ranges. If you're in a range and you're just shorting the highs and longing the lows and shorting the highs and longing the lows, one of them you're going to lose, right? So that's one of the big problems with people without any sort of kind of foresight as to what's going on. You know, you're just going to trade that strategy until the end, and it might hurt you. All right. Now, if your strategy has a pretty decent success rate, like for example, this case, right, you get all these whacks at it, you're going to do real well, and then you're going to get stopped out on one, and that's fine, right? That's why strategies like this are very safe. You're always going to lose a trade on them, but they're generally pretty safe. Also, I wanted to ask you how you trade BTC on Bybit with 0.25% TP. I don't. I've never said that. I don't know where you got that one from. Never takes 0.25%. My first TP is always at 0.5%. You pay 0.2 of 0.5, so your real income. No, but I don't. I never take TP at 0.25%. Don't do it. I don't know where you got that from, that idea. So what I do is take it at 0.5%. Okay, so generally I'm looking a little bit higher time frame as well. Okay, so let's say I hit this trade here. Okay, there is my first take profit is right around there, right? 0.5%, not 0.25. It's always at 0.5%. And that's trading 10x, right? If you're trading higher, then you're going to need higher. All right, potentially, you know, not really, but like if you're trading 5x, this will get you 50%. And if you're using limit orders, you're gonna be paying about 15% in fees. If you're using market orders, it's gonna be more. All right, so if I'm 10x, I have to get 1.5% to break even. If I get 0.5%, I'm already getting profit. All right. So yeah, I'm not sure where you got that 0.25% because I've never said that, and I've never done it. If a 0.25% is not worth it for me. And if you're trading 100x on limit orders, yeah, you're that'll get you 10%. You know, you're gonna have to give up. Sorry, 10%. You're gonna have to give up all the first 15% that you make, right? So 15% just to break even on 100x leverage. And I highly wouldn't recommend you trade 100x leverage, but I've seen some of your posts, so you know. Anyway, so yeah, it's 0.5%, which for me is 5% because I'm generally trading 10x. Sometimes I'll go lower than that, right? You'll see me post like 5x or 3x trades as well. So that's it. So if we get back to this idea here, We got here 5 minutes till the open. I don't have an S. Oh, I do have an S. Darn you. Yeah, for me, I would need to see 0.5%. All right. Break even stop equals market order. It has to be placed 0.2% from entry. So you in zero loss. After take profit 1, you mean? Because you're kind of doing half math right now. So if I take out, okay, so let's say this trade does kind of come to fruition, all right? And you see where this stopped here, all right? This one candle that closed above there. You're not out of danger when you first take profit, all right? So from here to the point of control is only 0.34%, right? So I would not hit a take profit on that. And then my first take profit would be, right around there, 0.5%. If this was the trade I was playing to this, then I would probably take out a reasonable amount of money there, right? Probably like close to 50% of the position, because I'm only looking for another, 0.43%. And that's why this really wouldn't be worth it for me. I'd want, I'd much rather a value area like this than this. It's pretty small. So you're assuming that you're assuming my take profit 1, how much margin I'm taking off for my take profit 1, right? So my stop would not change after my take profit 1. All right, I would still give it room. Okay, so there's a couple of ways you can play it. All right, when this has happened, you can put your stop below the candle the second candle that went into it. Right, but generally you're going to want a little more room on these, because these can take all day to play out, and price might come back down and might go up. All right, it's quite common. So let's find one that has worked out here. Okay, so here you go, right? Price closes outside, comes back in. There's your entry candle. Okay, here's your value area low. Here is here is your entry candle. Okay, so that's him. Your first take profit's going to be up at the point of control, which you can obviously see is about 6%ish, right? 7-ish, 6.8. Okay, or 0.68. So in that case, my first take profit wouldn't be at 0.5. If I was trading this, that's what it would be. All right. And then we've got a little more to go, which isn't a huge amount, but 1.16%. Okay. Now, after you take your first take profit, you're not going to be moving your stop loss up, because you're going to get stopped out, right? And generally what you want to do is have your stop below the low of day. All right, now you can put it right below this candle here. All right, so this was your confirmation candle, and then you see you get stopped out before price eventually rips up and hits your take profit 2 target, and then keeps going. All right, let's go find another example here. Here is another one. All right, so this one, here's your entry candle. All right, so price closes above the previous day's value area. This just hits in, and now your second candle in a row to close inside of it is this guy. All right, your stop loss here, it's just not, it's not worth it. Look at how far you've come down this value area, right? That's how I would see it. So pretty decent play there, looking at about 2%. All right, so could be sort of worth it, but it's a bit of a crazy place to be taking a trade. You know, you've got a big move down, you've created a new low of day already. It just doesn't make too much sense, this trade. Okay, then if we start looking at other factors, you're coming into fair value gaps here. Oh, we've already, New York Open's already happened. You have dip below the 0.5, you're coming back above it. You've got hidden divs. Like this is a trade I really couldn't take. Couldn't do it. Yeah, I really couldn't do it. All right. It's just too much here. So you've broken the previous day's high. You know, that's a bullish sign. You get the pullback. It's also insanely late in the day, right? So you can't take that either way because of the time, but because there's not enough time left in the day for you to kind of wiggle your way down there. But it's just a crazy trade. Besides the fact that it's too late in the day to take it, it's just a bit nuts. That one opened inside. Okay, so here's a decent one here. That's a real tough one there, but I would have to say that that did not close on it. Neither did that. Okay, so this is like the perfect setup here. Okay, so price closes above, price closes below, next half hour candle closes below, and it's right at that value area high, and your value area low is pretty decent, 4.21%, right? So your entry now is pretty close to the high of day. There's a lot of good things going on here, all right? So you hop in there, you can put your stop loss above the high of day and feel pretty safe about it. Okay, 0.6%. So you can get quite a bit of margin in that. You know, I still wouldn't be trading this with high leverage because a lot of times it will come back and you'll experience drawdown. It'll make you nervous, all right? These can whiplash quite nastily, all right? And then it takes 2 days to play out, but it finally comes down, hits it pretty much perfectly, and then goes, all right? Okay. Here's another one here. Okay, so this is your entry candle right here. Yep, that's it. Okay, so from the point of control, huge potential. All right, we're just trading sideways pretty much. We've come up, put in a new all-time high, and now we're just sort of trading sideways. We get back into the value area of the new all-time high. There it is, and it's a pretty, pretty massive stop loss you're going to have to be thinking about here, right? Like you really are going to have to put it below this low or below the low of day. Take a peek here. You get a pretty much 1% drawdown. So if you're trading 100x, you're done. You're liquidated on that, right? And then it eventually doesn't get up to the point of control, but it would have been a nice trade anyways, right? So when you're approaching that high of day, once again, you start looking at these high volume nodes, right? What are you getting through here? You've got that you're going to have all kinds of, this is going to be an order block. There's going to be an order block here. There's all kinds of resistance that you're running into. So they're trades that you don't want to just set and forget, man. That's what I would say about them. Particularly, here's another one. All right, your first candle to close inside of the value area. It doesn't even close inside of it. It just rips right through it. So that's a done trade. Can't take that. Can't. That's nothing. That's nothing. Okay, here's another one. Okay, so here's your signal candle. All right, second half hour close. Not going to be great. Not bad. 2% down to that point of control for your first take profit. So that's pretty decent. And you're going to have either a 2% stop loss, or if you want to get crafty about it, a 1% stop loss behind that high. All right, let's just take a peek real quick, see what New York is doing here. There they go, going for the bottom. Going for the bottom. Just take a quick peek here. Look at you. Oh, wow. Okay. So, how is it that you want to play this, right? So we'll look at today. We're not gonna get into this too greatly here. All right, but we can talk about this further in the Sunday live, but it's just a very straightforward thing, right? Don't get caught up in the strategy, because you're going to miss miss the forest for the trees. You're not going to see the bigger picture, right? So you want to look at the bigger picture all the time. Again, we have a relatively bearish signal, right? It's not huge, I know that, but we closed below the 0.5 on a P formation day, so it doesn't look overly bullish. We're close to Asia highs, or we've already tapped into them, really. Came back down. Didn't really get a signal here anyways, but a little bit on the sketchy side. So let's just take a peek here. We'll move down in time frames. And we'll take a peek here. So on the 3-minute chart, right now, you've got basically a range that we're forming, and that's really it. Something like that. Maybe like that. You could even bring this down a little bit lower here, maybe something like that. Okay, so we're just caught in a range here. We can't take that high. We've put in equal highs here. But if I ask you overall, look at this on short term, there's nothing overly bullish about this, right? We've put in a low, a higher low, a lower low. Now we've put in a higher high, and now we're getting this pullback again, right? So if you had your two closes here, all right, that would be one thing. But if you're looking at this market structure, like it's very rare that you put in a higher high off of a lower low and then you just keep going, right? You're generally going to get a pullback. Right? I hope that makes sense. Okay, and that's why like that's why we really harp on market structure, right? That's why the free videos I have are all about market structure. You know, the first video I have is about market structure. It's make sure you understand how this stuff flows, all right? So, you know, if we just look, it's almost always the same thing. Okay, you put in a high, you put in a higher low, you put in a higher high, you put in this case, a lower low, but every time you take the high, you take it out, right? So now we call this a swing low, this a swing high, and this a swing low. So when we take this, we're going to get a pullback, right? It almost always happens like that. Very rare do you take a high and then you just keep ripping, right? That is the exceptional bull market sort of scenario that sometimes Bitcoin just goes parabolic, and that happens. But for the most part, you take a high, you're going to get a pullback relatively quick. All right, you take out the high, you get a pullback relatively quick, back into the zone of the previous high. All right, you take out the high, you get that pullback back into that zone. Then we put in a very ugly M formation here. That looks like a 0.5 M. Well, no, it's not. Never mind. Okay, so I hope that helps, right? I know that a lot of people look for definitive answers in this stuff, but a lot of it depends on how you're trading, what you're trading with. So what is your leverage? What is your margin? That's very important for these types of setups. And you have to make sure that it's worth your weight in gold. But you'll see in the Discord, I've never, ever once posted a thing saying potential 80% setup or potential value area setup. I've never done that, but a lot of other people do. All right, and they do trade them, and I'll trade them, but it has to be looking good for a bunch of different reasons, right? So, you know, I know that's not overly helpful, man, but if you ask me specific questions, I can give you specific answers. But like, this is a very general question you're asking. Like, you're asking me, what do I look for to sort of be convinced about stuff, right? And like, honestly, there's so much that that can freak me out in a trade that I can't really go over it all unless I'm looking at it specifically in real time. Then I could say, oh, this doesn't look, you know, whatever. Like this sort of thing here, right? We price comes down, you know, to trade the big three, right? As soon as we put in this higher high, I'm not looking to short this anymore, right? Just not doing it, because now we've got a higher low, higher high. I'm not interested, even though I'm pretty sure you're going to get a pullback on this, because that's always what happens, right? I'm just not interested anymore, because now what I want to see is, can I catch a pullback into a signal and get in on that first long, right? But this would still be a decent trade. You could have made off like a bandit here, right? But it's not for me anymore. Now I want to see it go to the other side, right? Then we put in this lower low, and all of a sudden, I'm not too interested in this either. So we've expanded the range to the high. Now we've expanded it to the low. Now we've expanded it to the high again. It's looking a bit weird, right? It's not making too much sense. So I stay away from it. I hope that helps, man. Yeah. So what we could do is, yeah, every day you see one setting up, just ask in the Discord, say, oh, we've got potential, right? So as soon as we open outside of the value area, the previous day's value area, just post it and say, we've got a potential setup. Let's talk about it. And then we'll start looking at it. talk about all of the pros and cons of it, right? Remember, when you're trending, it's also one of those sort of trade ideas that when you're trending, it's going to catch you in the wrong mindset. Okay, so let's just get rid of this here and get back out. And we'll talk about it. And then we'll talk about what's going on here with the bit. But it does look like it's going to just chill out. I hope we put in an inside bar today. I've been saying that for too long already. Come on, inside bar. Okay, so today it's a real decent thing to be looking for, right? Because you are in an uptrend, right? We've got 3 straight days of moving up. So does it make sense to look for a long? Yes. Then what we have the fact that we've got 3 levels of rise or 3 days of rise, and that is a market cycle no-no, right? For continuation, although sometimes we will get 5 days. That doesn't look like it's going to be the case today, right? So looks all right, but we have had 3 days of rise, so might want to err on the cautious side here, as we might be in for a pause or a little bit of a pullback and then some continuation. All right. Second thing, we can look at our day type here and we can see what is happening there, right? Third thing, we pretty much bounced off of a golden pocket here, right? It swept it a little bit, but from the swing high to the swing low, we've pretty much hit a golden pocket. And if we can't hold this, then we're going to be going down to at least the 382, I would imagine, right? All right, so we could be looking at a dump down to here. Even today, potentially. I mean, that's pretty far away. Don't see us doing it, but you never really know. If they start running for profit off of these positions they've had to build up, it could happen. It could definitely happen. All right, so that's what I mean by don't let it kind of catch you. Just think about overall stuff, what's going on, okay? Never let a strategy override your thought process totally, because you're going to miss other things. You're not going to see what's coming, all right? Again, got some pretty bearish signals here. It's not to say that we're bearish, right? But there's a lot of things going on here that say this is not the kind of trade we should be looking for today. Maybe we should be looking for a stop hunt, which could be coming right now. All right. Maybe a sweep of Asia, London, and then turn back around and start going. So we might be able to catch along here. And then if price comes up and we close 2 30-minute candles inside, you know, after you've taken profit on the way up, you can add to it again and then take profit at the point of control and then hopefully take profit at the high, right? So think a little bit kind of outside the box and just say, okay, this strategy, it can be helpful in several different ways. I can use it as an entry. I can use it as confirmation for a entry that I got lower. I can use it to add to my position. I can use it for take profit levels. All right. Yeah. Don't get too focused in on just one thing. That is the death, right? So it's a bit of a strange paradox. You want to really kind of hone your skills in one aspect, right? Really start killing stuff on one aspect, right? Like if I was gonna tell you to focus on one strategy, I would tell you to focus on swing failure patterns. That is the best. I wouldn't focus so much on this one, because this one doesn't happen that often, and your risk reward ratio is often not going to be worth it. Whereas swing failure patterns, if you're looking at true swings, they will give you massive risk reward ratios. All right. So that's it. So let's talk about what's going on here. All right, just get rid of this business here. There goes New York, taking us downtown. Yeah, when I was I remember when I was in university, uh pretty much every one of my classes had really definitive answers, like anatomy definitive, biology definitive, like all these real definitive things. And then when you start getting into treatments and uh, not so much analysis, but more treatments, you get into the land of it depends. And I used to find it extremely frustrating because it's very difficult to get straight answers when all of your profs are just like, well, it depends, it depends. And you're going to hear that a lot in trading as well, right? Because that's just the nature of the beast. Think about this. We're watching hundreds of thousands of people right now buy and sell stuff. So the potential for weird things, anomalies, and all kinds of wacky shit happening is pretty big. It's pretty big, right? So we really got to kind of look at it, see what's going on here. Well, like just this London move, right? If we take it down a little bit lower time frame here, right? I mean, that doesn't look overly healthy, and that's what I was saying. It looks like a great place for New York to come back down and just kind of clean this up, right? Down fast, up fast, come back, clean it up, done. You even got a fun little scalp there off of a Long Island, but London opening range seems to be holding. But New York's got plans for that. All right, now trading below the daily open. And she is on her way down. Make sure I read everything. When you place your stop to be. I place my stop very early. Very early. I enter a position. Depending on what I'm trading on Bitcoin, I generally don't open bracket orders, but I'll open my order, set my stop loss, and then I'll open limit orders for my take profits. So I set it really quick. And then after your take profit one, don't play with your stop order. Give it room. After you hit your take profit two, that's when you move your stop order into slight profit or break even. That's really up to you. If you think you might have a runner on your hands, give it some room to breathe. If you think it's going to be coming back, you can just close your trade out. So it depends what kind of trader you are, right? I generally trade with the trend, so I'm not looking to close out too many trades, right? Unless I start counter trading. For example, right now on Bitcoin, right? I'm opening shorts every chance I get with USDT, right? And that's just to hedge in case we do hit the top and price starts to come back down. I'm already hedged and building my USDT position. And that's that, right? But if I'm just counter trend trading, like let's say you're trading mean reversion or something, you're going to be looking to close that trade out whenever you hit your mean, which for the most part is going to be the 50 EMA or the VWAP or whatever dynamic support and resistance or trend based instrument you're using, tool. Pretty slow day here. So we had news come out today too. It's completely flat. Nothing really doing. All right, one interesting thing is that we do have our close of the month today. All right, so new month beginning, that's always exciting. Next week, we've got Monday, ISM Manufacturing PMI comes out. That will do a little bit of movement on the indexes, probably won't make Bitcoin do much. Tuesday, you've got JOLTS jobs openings, which will also move the markets, Bitcoin, And then Wednesday, we've got a big day with non-farm employment change, ISM services PMI. So the non-farm employment change is usually a pretty decent mover and shaker. Thursday, unemployment claims. So that'll give a little boost as well. And then on Friday, you've got average hourly earnings, non-farm employment change, and your employment rate, or unemployment rate, I should say. So next week's a pretty big news week. We might start to see some bigger movement on the market. All right. I thought we would get a bit more exciting this week, but it hasn't really happened. Hasn't really happened. So yeah, it looks like it's going to be another one of these days where New York not really going to do much for the first little while. See what happens at 3 o'clock. Yesterday was pretty nasty New York action. You know, you got that big push up, and then they just set it up the trap, dumped it, came back in, pretty much hit right smack dab in the middle of the trap, and then just kept on going down. But today they haven't taken anything yet. So again, love to see an inside bar today. Would love to see it, but I know I'm going to get off, and then in an hour we're going to take a previous day's level, and then somebody's going to laugh at me on the Discord and say, took the previous day's low. And I'll say, never giving us those Friday inside bars again. Come on. Take a quick peek here at the NQ1. Oh, started to move it on up. Rolling into thick resistance up there. That's such a tempting scalp right there. Very tempting. I likely would have been all over that. Oh. Wouldn't have hit my first take profit yet, but it would have been very close. Would have been. I probably would have taken profit there, actually. I'm not going to let it react off of a fair value gap like that and not take anything. She's a Cohen. All right. So anyhow, anyone have any questions about anything else? What did Mr. Unknown ask a question here? I don't think he actually asked anything about. No, he's just calling me a sinner, more or less. Yeah. Builder Bob's biting his nails. All right, Builder Bob, we're not doing anything. We're just ranging around. Not much happening here. Yeah. So again, just chilling out, man. Wait for a push away, and then get back in on a turnaround. Okay, so how do I oh, that's not what I wanted to do. How do I take advantage of these stickers then? What's going on with that, Andy? What can I do with stickers? Or does the sticker disappear after? Once I close the stream, it's gone. And I'm just left with the Knox. Seriously, says Mr. Unknown. Oh man. All right, well, yeah, this is going nowhere fast here. Now we're going to do a little pump up after sweeping the the London opening range. But it's just this looks like they're just kind of trapping people in here now. Wouldn't buy into it. Retested the daily open. Are you overall expecting higher or lower in BTC price? By overall, you mean long term? I am expecting higher still, personally. All right, I really wouldn't be surprised if we do hit around the 120, 125 zone. And then it could also surprise me and just keep going, right? So that's what I would really kind of be looking for. What is happening? It's just price moving around, Mr. Unknown. See what happens at this daily open now. Oh, your internet was gone? Yeah, that's not for me. My internet is lightning fast. Lightning fast. Seems like my internet provider, I actually got my internet working after 2 years. 2 years, man, of constantly underperforming internet and me constantly complaining. And the funny thing is my contract expires with them in April. So, all right, it's been just under 2 years. 2 years minus 3 months. Now I'm like, oh, yeah. You thought I was twerking? Midterm, like in the next 1 month. So I think that this is gonna, okay, I would really have to say that that's a bit of a tougher question, all right? The timing of it short term, like I really want to see a pullback coming down to about 96 or so, but it's looking like it might not happen, all right? So if we can get a nice pullback and grab up some liquidity from down here and turn around, then I would assume that within the next month we could we should definitely be breaking all-time highs. All right, that's what I would assume. I missed the win alt season, guys. What? Droxboxy? Because seasonality wise, Q2, Q3 for BTC is generally bearish or boring and sideways. Yeah, well, I think you know, I think those days might be over, man. To be honest, I remember, you know, a lot of people. Not that I remember, but it's a fact that there's a lot of people that talk about. Just look at February, look at this month. This is a notorious bad month. You know, there's notorious bad months for all markets. This is true. But Bitcoin is not behaving the way that it has before. There's a lot more money in it and a lot less volume, which is a bit strange. Like we're well over the $2 trillion market cap right now. And a volume is non-existent. So it's definitely not acting like it used to in many senses. So we'll see what happens, man. See how that goes. But I would not really buy into that stuff except for the general market sort of bad months, all right? But in terms of looking at it the way that people used to, you're gonna give me 1,000% confirmed trade when bear market will start. Yeah, who knows? And the bear market might not be what it was either, right? So like, again, I know I look at this a lot and I keep saying it, but if you just look at the volume on this stuff, it doesn't really make too much sense, right? Last bull volume and this, you would have to assume that either we haven't started the bull market and we haven't even started to push towards max stupid, right? Where volumes really died off, no interest left. Right? You could maybe make a case for it that it is here, less volume, less interest, but it really isn't. Like there's more interest here than there was here overall over a longer period of time. But it's nothing compared to that. So who knows, man? Who knows? But be prepared for that. Be prepared for things to change on this, because this is I've seen a couple of memes, even in our own Discord, but people who are, always talking about, oh, we need to get mass adoption, and when the big boys start buying and all that stuff. And then the big boys start buying, and then it's not going to be as easy to make money off this stuff. All right. It's just, that's the way it's going to happen. If you want to make easy money, you're going to have to start looking at altcoins, and that's about it, because Bitcoin should be just turned into this sort of like slow lumbering beast that has these slow lumbering downturns and then slow lumbering upturns. That's what'll happen if it gets mass adoption. It'll turn into the S&P, that's it. So this space will become like Forex. I don't know if it'll become like Forex. I think it'll become more like an index, because Forex is it's just so interconnected and it's so heavily regulated. I think this will be more sort of like the S&P. So it'll turn into something more like just a sort of constant grind up with then these slow pullbacks. You get these big slow pullbacks, lumbering back up. Not those huge, massive ups and downs, right? Like that's what people want when they want mass adoption and they want the big boys investing in it, because they don't like those 70% dumps, man. Same but different. Yeah, same but different. That's true, Mr. Unknown. That's true, but Forex definitely has more ups and downs, as it's kind of connected to economies, right? Where Bitcoin is not going to be directly linked to one specific economy. So let's just hit it back here real quick for the Bitcoin. So that's what I'd be looking for today, and it's a shame that we're going to say it. Too bad. Monday and Tuesday we caught movement, caught a couple trades, but here it's not really happening. I would still be looking for a stop hunt here. All right, stop hunt of the previous day's low. You've got the previous day's open down here. Very nice little zone. And then if we go to the upside, you've got that last high up here from New York. And then you've also got some nice fair value gaps and order blocks all up in here that we might be going up to get above. Check above comment. I am legend now, Yuna. Yeah, Droxboxy, the 2021 volume was insane. It was insane. It was fantastic. So yeah, it could be, everything could be changing, right? And I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying you got to be prepared for it. Like, we have definitely not acted the way we did last bull run. because we put in a new all-time high, then we got that big consolidation, then we started cracking it to the upside, and that should have gotten quite a bit of people losing their minds to buy Bitcoin, but it really didn't. The volume did not come in. And then the weird thing is you hear about it everywhere already. Like you're already seeing that sort of, my dad wants to buy Bitcoin, people who have no idea what Bitcoin is, never used it. So yeah. Yep. And those are also things that are like so helpless, I was going to say not helpful, but I had already said help. And this is for full-time killer. Like just because Q2 and Q3 are generally bearish or boring, it doesn't help you, right? So it's not going to help you enter trades. It's not going to help you do anything really. It's just guys who are talking about these weird stats that mean absolutely nothing because Bitcoin hasn't been around long enough to have any meaningful statistical data yet. The sample size is just not anything. Retail learned their lessons, ... Maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure if it is about retail, right? Like the thing about volume is if you have all of these entities starting to hoard Bitcoin, the tradable volume is just going to be less, right? Now, I still don't believe, like, it's kind of like, Michael Saylor. Michael Saylor's not the biggest whale in Bitcoin, right? Most Bitcoin is owned by 4% of wallets. And there are some big whales out there. But if they start selling their Bitcoin, they're going to have to buy back in, and they're not going to, or they just give up on it, Bitcoin, right? But somebody's going to buy that up real quick. That's what Saylor's doing. That's what BlackRock's doing. These guys are just buying it. So, but that one MF didn't bought for me. What? I was buying Bitcoin and ETH in 2016, but that one MF didn't bought for me. Oh, the Q2 to Q3 seasonality things was based on 2023 and 2024. So I'm wondering if it will repeat in 2025. Yeah, it might, man. It might. You have to. Q3 can be very strange for the markets because of money moving from sectors to sectors, right? So you'll see that in Q3 for the most part. That's when you're going to see a lot of like energy increases. You're going to see things based on, seasonal movement that people do, right? So like vacations, things like that. Asking about that is simply for planning to get my spot bag of alts out. Yeah, like just watch it, man. That's what I say. Like just watch the charts and let them sort of show you what's going on, right? Right now they're telling us this could be the top. We're in a range here. If we start breaking to the downside, this could get pretty aggressively down. So that's a possibility. Doesn't mean we have to. So it's a bit, it's hit and miss. Like all of this sort of stuff that you hear from these guys, like, now I remember last bull cycle, like the insane things you would hear people say about especially months. Like the month thing was hilarious. It's like, oh, this is the dump month for Bitcoin, and you'd be like, have you looked at market structure? It's pretty bullish. It's pretty damn bullish. And then the month would play out, and it just kept putting in higher highs and higher highs, right? And like it's just bizarre. Did you saw Andy tweet? No, I have to go follow Andy on Twitter. Sorry. Did it take long before you became a profitable trader? Yeah, it took a couple years, like before I really started getting the swing of it. And then I would say like I had good teachers, all right, so that'll say. So really like 6 months into it, I was doing okay. Like I wasn't losing money. But I wouldn't call myself overly profitable. It was about 2 years in that I really started seeing things. And then about like 5 or 6 year mark, that's when things really kind of clicked. And yeah, yeah, it's a long process, man. It's a pretty long process, but you can get away with it if if you just really focus on process, right? Focus on learning, and then people will give you some really great nuggets if you want to learn, right? Here's Mr. Unknown. 2 months with you now. I'm still in loss. Yeah, 2 months is not a long time, man. But if you're picking like how many times have you heard me talk? Even today I mentioned it, right? Swing failure patterns, right? So those are the big ones, man. Here you go. Swing failure pattern. Huge move. Swing failure pattern. Huge move. Right? So if you think about just taking one trade every couple of weeks, you'll be great at trading. But nobody wants to do that, right? People want to take five trades a day, 10 trades a day, and that makes you ungreat. But it's good for learning, right? Mr. Unknown, they are selling a course. You need to say you made millions. No, he didn't take the course. Don't worry, man. He didn't take the course. But the English course isn't out yet. It's coming out in probably next week. But yeah, if you look at that swing failure pattern, massive move, right? He promised I'll be a profit in a few weeks. You can't be a profit if you don't listen. Just take the swing failure patterns. You'll be fine, Mr. Unknown. Drugsboxy says I will buy. Yeah, but no worries. It's not a big deal. We need trolls too. Got to have Mr. Unknown in here trolling us, keep us on our toes. But yeah. He says I am more of PDF guy books, PDF book guy. Yeah. We got you covered then if that's what you want. But yeah, that's what I would say, man. Swing failure patterns, that's the way to go. The best trade to take if you're new. It's the one to be looking for constantly. And it's the least stressful one. It's really the least stressful thing. Like if you had been looking at this low here, swing failure pattern, right? And you maybe mark out, get an alert going with no limit on it when you're maybe $500 away from this. Right? You could have done the same thing here, right? This is going to be hard to go back in history on this one. All right, price comes down, hits into that level. You've had this crazy stopping volume candle here. Look at that. Look at that volume. Going nowhere. They're telling you they ain't letting it go out of the zone yet. You get a nice bullish engulfing here. That is just evil. Pure evil. And then you get your swing failure. Boom. Comes back up. Finishes strong. You hop in there. Put your stop loss below here. It's a huge stop loss. I know that, but it's what you got to do in case it comes back down and retest it. And then you just hold it, man. Hold it, hold it, hold it. What a thing. Una in swing failure pattern, how to spot this is the end. It would go any further down. Well, you've just got to kind of be watching what's going on here, right? So look at this volume, stopping volume candle here, right? You get a bullish engulfing candle with horrible volume, right? A doji, get a little pullback here, stupidness, and then look at that. Look at it. Bloody obvious, isn't it? It's bloody obvious. What's your opinion on support and resistance trading? It's great. It's great. I like support and resistance. I use it a lot, but I would never use it on its own. But I mark out support and resistance levels all the time. I'd like them on the 4-hour chart. And I also like them all the way down to the 15 if we're in a tight packed range, right? So yeah. Uh-oh. Whoa. That's weird. YouTube just cut out for a second there. Sorry, guys. Resistance. It's like showing us a middle finger. What is like showing you a middle finger? I can't see what the previous one is. So yeah, I really do like support and resistance. I have a video. Droxboxy. You're in our Discord service, right, Droxboxy? I don't know who you are, man, in our Discord. I know Mr. Unknown because he uses the same name everywhere. But if you just if look in my market structure videos, I have a support and resistance video. I don't know if you've seen it. You may have seen it, but you don't care about harmonic patterns anymore. Yeah, I do. When I see them coming up, I'll look at them. I'll definitely look at them. I talked about this one, a Navarro 200 here. I will definitely keep an eye on them, but I like to use them like long time frames. See the chart upside down at 90K. What? See the chart upside down at 90K. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm going to continue on with my thought process here. So for Droxboxy, yeah, I like to use the line chart. And there's certain weird characteristics you'll see on a line chart that are just more conducive to finding good support and resistance. And because it takes out the wicks, it filters out quite a bit of noise. So you could see something like this high here to this low, right? You've got this cute little quirk here. And then these little squiggles here, these are pretty much like supply and demand zones. Very useful. But what I like to do is just start off by taking like lows. And then you see the stuff started playing itself out. And then I like to come up to the highs. All right. And then I'll start looking down here for these wacky little squiggly things. All right. So these little pullbacks here. All right. You can take them off the highs, or you can look for these weird little squiggles here. All right, so you see how this is an up candle, this is a 4-hour up candle, and then the next up candle just rips. So this is an origin candle here on a 4-hour chart. That would be the explanation I would give to it. All right, so you can get real tight zones doing that, or you can go for a bigger broad zone by taking this whole pullback here. All right. And I generally try to get the tighter zones on the half-hour chart, the 4-hour chart. Okay, and then you pull it back out to the candle chart and you start looking around at it and see if it'll make sense, right? So here you can see this is obviously an origin candle. You're just pulling off the body of it. And this tight little zone, look at that bad boy. Look at those wicks, man. Beautiful stuff. Yeah, and it's working still working its magic. All right, so there's those little weird things. which are very easy to spot on the line chart. But if you're looking at this on the candle chart, then you're going to be looking for these origin candles that create a big move, leave a fair value gap, but then you're only going to be taking the body of it, all right? Can we take 107K zone? Like today? I would highly doubt it today. Although JASA yesterday said we were going to put in a new all-time high today, so I don't see it happening, but I'm hoping for an inside bar. That's what I'm hoping for. Don't know if it'll happen. So what you got to see now is what's going to happen here at this high, the daily high, the high of day, all right? And then take it from there. But this is very helpful stuff here on the line chart, all right? So there you go, that tiny little squiggle gives you a nice tight little zone. Okay, so if you don't understand what I'm talking about, that's what I'm talking about, right? You have this little candle here. Doesn't look like a little candle, right? Because it's a line chart, but that's what it is. And then you have the explosive move away from it. Tomorrow on the weekend, yeah, you know, anything can happen on the weekend. You got the weekend warriors out. So then here you can definitely be looking to mark off this high and this low. And now you've established, you know, a couple of support and resistances that are pretty much above and below the equilibrium here, right? And that's how I would start this off. And then as price starts to move out of it and take it, right? But whatever, we've got this zone, and this zone created. Let's take it back out to the candle chart and see how these zones respond. All right, so very nice wick hit in. Right, holds nicely, wicks off of this one, destroys that guy, rejection. Right, so you can see how this really starts to add up quite nicely. Now, would I trade these on their own? No, I would, again, look for fibs. I would look for fair value gaps. I'd look for order blocks. Look at your volume. Look at origin candles. Look at EMAs. Look at all the stuff we were constantly talking about, right? And just look for these potential setups, right? Again, swing failure patterns, right? Look at this low. That's liquidity, right? Just think about liquidity constantly, right? Swing failure pattern. That is just such a crazy day. I caught this trade. I wasn't watching it, but I remember caught it. It's ridiculous. No, caught this one, sorry. Yeah, caught this guy. See it, something is going on with it. ETH. See it, something is going on with it. All right, and then I'm gonna get out of here. This is getting hour and a half live stream with nothing going on. Yeah, baby, it took that 382. Yeah, it's getting a little pump going, man. Right into this range here. Look at that. wacky little spike there. And then you've got another one right there. Easy up, easy down. Time for, oh yeah, it's been time for coffee for 15 minutes, 20 minutes already, Jokerin. Yep, time for some coffee. Then I gotta also take a shower. So I might be done for the day here. This might be it. Ooh, come on, get up there. I could think about shorting that. Okay, hold on. ETH, back to ETH. So this is going to be brutal if this gives us a 2-bar break on a hip here. I couldn't trade it, but I would love to. I'd love to short this, but I'd want to see it create something fair value gapish and then come back up for a retest and hit into some sort of fib in a fair value gap or order block or something, and then look to trade it down. So this is just that volume profile stuff we were talking about in yesterday's stream, right? Right, you've got your consolidation here, right? This bar to this bar. I'm not counting these because of this wick. I mean, I'm not counting them because they're really the aggression out of the zone. Even though this wick comes down here, I'm kind of having to ignore this wick. But you see, there's our consolidation. Price comes back up and then just rips. So there's a case that you could use these two candles, but I won't. So, you know, consolidation. This is them getting their shorts in order, short out of the zone. And then now we revisit that zone. And we've got these two volume nodes up in this range. So let's see what happens here. No, yesterday's stream is not uploaded. Sorry. Yeah, my internet went weird, very weird last night. So I was trying to sound as angry as I could on a phone call, which is pretty fun because I generally I'm not an angry person. I don't really get angry. So I was like, but in Portugal, if you're not pissed, they don't do anything for you. Like you actually have to be pissed. So yeah, I was talking quite badly about their service. And wouldn't you know it, they were here this morning and I've got lightning fast internet now. It's pretty wild. So I'll get that done today. Hopefully before I go to the pig roast. But no, it'll get done today. And don't worry, Majid, I won't be partaking in the haram, except I will drink one non-alcoholic, one zero alcohol beer. It won't take like a month to upload. No, I've got super lightning fast internet now. It'll probably take like 2 minutes. Lightning. All right, but that's what I'd be looking at. If you can break this, all right, then you're going to be looking for a retest and then a go. But this is a very sketchy place here. It will take like a month to upload. 1 minute chart. What do you mean 1 minute chart? ETH. I am not religious. Neither am I. But I still believe that Mr. Unknown partakes in haram all the time, especially on the internet. Spending all his money on those OnlyFans sites. No, I kid. I kid. Yeah, but this is what we're looking at. running into some pretty good resistance here. Let's see what plays out. But that's it, guys. I'm gonna go grab some coffee, see if I can catch a quick trade on the NASDAQ before I get out of here, and we will talk on Sunday. Can you do a 1 month fast? Yeah, I can fast for 1 month. Yep. Yeah, I fast quite a bit actually. But it's not for religious purposes. I fast for health purposes, but I've done it since I was very young. So I'm a pretty easy faster. Then do your full body test. Do your full body test. What do you mean your full body test? You mean do go get all my medical tests done after I do a 1 month fast? Everything's perfect. Cholesterol's perfect. Sugars are perfect. Everything's perfect after a fast. It's weird. Yeah. All right. Anyways, that's it. Time for coffee. I hope you guys are all going to be safe and well. We'll do this on Sunday. One more time, the VIP stream on Sunday, and we'll see you guys there, man. Have a great weekend, and peace out. Should I short ETH now? No, don't short ETH now. It's breaking through this, so wait for it to start showing you some signs of weakness. All right, it's looking pretty strong, man. Look what Bitcoin's doing. Bitcoin, look at that. Bitcoin's pushing out of the Bitcoin's out. So stop loss hit. Now let's see what they do. So watch for a pullback and make sure that this is going to hold. The Asia high is going to hold before it goes, or it might just go. And if you sweep the previous day's high, then look for a pullback. All right. Thank you. I will enjoy my coffee. You guys have a great one. Talk soon, man. Take care.